Questions for Coach Stevens? Start with Kevin Walsh.
Coach, how you doing?
Hi, Kevin.
All right. Here's my question. You suggested, I think it was yesterday, that Kemba would be on limited minutes coming back. Is that set in stone, or
Yes.
is there any wiggle room if he says, I'm feeling pretty good? Would you push it at all?
No, set in stone, 14 to 20. And so, as I said yesterday, Kemba will be really happy with me when he hits somewhere between 18 and 20, I'm guessing. But he knows. I mean, we've covered it. And, the most important thing is his knee, his strength. You have to be able to build up appropriately. He's done that in the last couple of weeks of practice. Maybe even a little ahead of schedule to be considering that he's playing that many minutes in game one with where we started earlier a couple weeks ago. But his strength of his knee and his ability to get in condition to play at the level that he wants to play by the time the playoffs start, this is part of the path, and we're going to stick with that.
Question in person for Tanya.
Have you and Frank Vogel been able to spend any time together over the last few weeks, or has it just been too busy?
Yeah, I saw Frank this morning. Frank and I have been good friends for a long time, and we actually golfed. One of the assistants on my staff and Frank and Jason Kidd, maybe the first week we were here, before most of us have put our sticks away now. So. But it's been great to see him. It's he's had a great year, done a remarkable job. He's a great guy. I'm happy for him.
He said the golfing is probably over for him at this point.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way? I
haven't golfed for at least a week now. I think it's going to be much harder to find time to get out there. But I do think maybe we can sneak out there, late at night before the sun goes down, just for a brief getaway. Because I do think no matter what, just like when you're going through the end of the regular season and the playoffs, you need to find something to do to get your mind off of what's consuming it for, between every game.
Mark Murphy.
Hi, Brad. Just back to Kemba for a moment. Is the idea that he won't play a full minutes load until the playoffs?
It will ramp up towards full minutes. So, just like the last couple of weeks, we've had a plan and we've made sure that, we've ramped it up appropriately. As long as he hits all his marks, as long as he continues to gain strength, then we'll keep ramping up his minutes. And by the end of the seeding games, he'll be playing near that full game minutes for sure. But the strength is we're not backing off the strength addition right now. And I think that's a huge part of why he's playing the minutes he's playing, because we still need to be able to build strength over the next few weeks.
Question in person. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, thank you.
Okay. Question in person, Kyle Goon.
Brad, you talked before about just the unpredictability of the different venues and the times of day that you have to practice. And is there a trade-off when you look at your seeding games of like, oh, we don't have to fly to these places or stay in hotels and do that kind of creative finding places to rest and finding places to get guys sleep? Do you feel like that's a net positive or a net negative with that trade-off?
I think it's a net neutral because every team's here. That's the way I would answer it. So we're all into the same. Milwaukee and us have basically probably had the same schedule for the last 2.5 weeks. So it is what it is. It's not. There are some things that, like I said, about just being able to get your mind off something. I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges. Is where do you do that? How do you do that? Because it's pretty easy to just get tunnel vision right now. And because there's not much else to do. But I think that, you're going to have to find things. But ultimately, I think it's easier from a sleep standpoint, yes. From a recovery standpoint, from all that stuff, that should be good, but it's equal for everybody.
And just a quick follow-up, Frank has told us one of the things that he does to get away from work is his family. and
Yeah.
that's such a valuable thing. And it's been tougher since it's digital. Like, is that kind of what you're trying to replace in terms of getting your head out of work? Is the family?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying. You know, as I've told Tracy, I think they seem to be doing fine. So, you know, they don't need to talk to me much. No, we try to. I Zoom and/or am on FaceTime a few times a day with them. You know, I've learned how to watch TV shows over Zoom together. Not ideal, but it is what it is.
Adam Himmelsbach. Adam?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was saying, you made it clear to us that the focus for you guys is August 17th, when the playoffs begin. What kind of, I don't know, led you to feeling that way? Is it the lack of home court advantage? Is it the reality that with only 8 games, there's not going to be a lot of movement? Is it the long layoff? Like, what kind of shifted the focus already towards that?
I mean, I don't think the focus is to try to play as good a basketball as we can, but recognizing we have to play our best basketball starting at that time. So I don't think any of us thinks that we're going to be at our very, very best after 2.5 weeks of practice. But I think that we've tried to focus ourselves to play as well as we can and go into the next game and prepare as well as we can to try to do our best and, you know, compete to win games. But, you know, that never changes. That's a goal that stays the same every night. But there's no question, just like you're playing in a regular season, you want to peak at the right time. I think that's our focus.
And what will be the benefits of jumping right in against Milwaukee tomorrow?
That'd be a good question for after the game, Adam. You know, I think the biggest thing that I would say is that, you know, they're the best defense in the league. Offensively, they're great. They play up and down the court. They're super physical. And something that not a lot of people talk about is how old they are. Like, they just know, they know the game inside and out. They've played it for a long time. They've got a lot of guys that know what they do best surrounding some, you know, an uber talented guy in Giannis and several other, you know, high caliber players, including an all-star in Middleton.
Brian Robb.
Hey, Brad. Beyond Kemba, do you guys have any other, you know, restrictions for guys heading tomorrow? And also with Kemba, given the short minutes limit, are you hoping to be able to have him, you know, late for crunch time to map that out, or is that going to be tough to pull off?
I'll probably just play him in his minutes and then just be done. I just think that the more when you try to play somebody, Brian, like in 3-minute increments, they have no flow or rhythm to their playing. So, you know, at least tomorrow we'll just play him probably in the, you know, in his minutes. It may even be by the end of the first half. And then we'll go from there with whoever's available late. But everybody else is, you know, we've been fortunate, knock on wood. You know, we're in pretty good shape otherwise.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.